Okay, Dave. So three guys go into a cave and they meet up with a guy with a clubbed arm. We'll continue that later.
Is it just me?
Dave, I know there's no ending.
They couldn't even afford a hook.
When we get to it, we'll get to it. Dave, I can't wait to get to the end of this episode. Little Willow and Sheila. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, I do.
What the heck was that all? Well, I know what it was all about, but I can't wait to talk about it.
All right.
Anyways, we are here to talk about The Night of the Double-Edged Knife. Aired November 12, 1965, The Wild Wild West. Yes, here we go. This is something star-studded cast, Dave. I mean,
it was fantastic.
Oh my God, Leslie Nielsen with that stump on his arm, General Ball, which we'll talk about it. It just was so fake and so funny. I was laughing.
Good. It's so good. It was almost in a way kind of like that Kolchak we watched, Chopper.
Oh yes, with Fonzie on the motorcycle. Yeah, with the head, you could tell there's a guy in there with the jacket way up. Cracked me up, and we got what's his name? We'll get to it. The guy from Maltese Falcon. What's his
Elijah
name?
Cook Jr.
Yeah. Elijah. And then we got what's her name? Catherine Ross, who was in The Graduate and Butch Cassidy Sundance Kid. And I'm in love with Catherine. She is so beautiful.
You have to wait in line. We also have John Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
And we've got Von Taylor, who, since we have to reference Psycho, at least I do every meeting, he was the boss in Psycho that Marilyn Crane stole money from.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. No, lots of stars in this one. And the story's kind of doesn't listen. There's no steampunk sci-fi or nothing. This is just a plain old kind of.
It's Cowboys and Indians tonight.
Cowboys and Indians tonight. Yeah. It's pretty good. And again, I can't say enough about Catherine Ross, man. She is a beauty.
She is. This is 2 years prior to her being on The Graduate, where she got her fame.
Yes. And I tell you what, the very beginning, she starts talking with that Irish accent, and then it's gone the rest of the episode. She said, "Forget it. I'm not doing it. It's just not working."
Sounds too fake.
All right. Okay, let me say hi to everybody in the chat. Hello, Edward Stewart. What's going on? Good to see you. Good to have you here. J.O.B. Tom O. Hey, old Tom O. What's going on? John Swan, Harry Scott. Hi, boy donuts to you, my friend. Jimmy D. It's been a while since I've seen you, my friend. Who else is here? Sally Skellington is here. Mr. Ed. Ed Stathis himself. There you go. Connie Clary. I'm sure I said that. Nathan. My gosh, I think that's it. Tune the news. What is going on? So yeah, let's get into this, Dave. This was a very Dave Plouffe has an affinity for willows. Little Willow. Yeah.
That is the cleanest I could have made this. I had to redo it about 3 times.
Dave, I tell you what, in everything we've covered, I don't think we've had anything as risque as the ending of this episode.
Or parts of it.
Or parts of it, yeah.
Normally,
Willow in the tent. Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
Normally he gets 1 girl. He gets 2.
It's crazy. It's crazy. No, when we get to the end, we definitely will go, what? Because it was just so out there. But yeah, no, this is good. This is a good one. This is Cowboys and Indians, and Leslie Nielsen and the trickery and everything else going on. So Dave, get us started, man. Where do we start?
we start in the Old West, and we're along this train track, and these guys in the cart, you know, when they're pushing the thing that I've always wanted to ride. And it looks so fun. And one of the guys immediately you look and you go, oh my gosh, that's Elijah Cook Jr. From Maltese Falcon.
Maltese Falcon and a bunch of other film noir movies that are out there.
Night Stalker even.
Yes.
And awesome. He's with this other guy, Mr.
Parnell. Yep.
And they're cruising along, and all of a sudden you can see all the workers with their shovels going, screw you.
We're leaving. We're out of here. Yeah.
They're walking the other way. And the guy, Mr. Parnell, starts chewing him out. What are you doing? You chicken, you know, and just starts ripping on his workers.
Yeah.
They don't even bother looking up at him. So they go over a little bit further down the tracks, and there is this scaffolding, and there's 4 guys hanging there.
Isn't it 5? Because what is it? 5? Oh, you're right. You're right. 4.
4 guys.
Yeah.
Got arrows in them. Their hands are tied. They're hanging there.
They're hanging.
Says, Sullivan, McGillicuddy.
McGillicuddy. Yeah, even Elijah Wood, his character is doing that deep Irish accent.
Yeah.
Not very well, but yeah.
So Mr. Parnell tells Elisha Cook Jr., go back. We'll bury these people properly, blah, blah, blah. And so the guy starts wheeling the cart away, pulls the arrow out, explosion.
I didn't get that.
It's the old exploding arrows trick.
Out of the back, of a human.
Yeah. I don't know how he was rigged with explosives.
Yeah, I don't either. And they showed a close-up of him pulling the arrow out of the back, and it blew up.
Yeah.
And I didn't see any string connected to anything else. It just pull the arrow out of the back, the body blows up. It was a little weird. But anyways, the whole thing is, supposedly the Cheyenne Indians want $500,000 in gold to get them to,
to let the railroad be built.
Yeah, and to stop them from ambushing people, because it's 5 men killed each day till they get what they want, and that's it. I mean, that's kind of the premise there. But we're going to get into the mix up here, and
as Harry Scott says, it's a Gandhi dancer cart.
What is? Oh, the Gandhi dancer cart that they're moving on. Yes. Very cool. Thank you, Harry Scott. I like that, a Gandhi dancer cart. I thought that was. Yeah, I won't go there.
Well, it is the Gandhi Shovel Company of New York, is what I believe is why they call them Gandhi dancers, is that they shove in the shovel and they do a little jig dancing. And anyway,
there you go. Yeah, the old exploding arrow trick. Yeah. Hi, Lon Chaney. Is Lon Chaney here? Oh, hey, Lon Chaney. The greatest bad guy was Dr. Michelito Lovelace from another episode. Yeah.
And on our next one, he will be there back again.
Okay. He was the one that had the geisha girl in the, am I wrong?
He was the one when he was in the Richard Keel episode. So you had gigantic Richard Keel, and you had the small person, Miguelito Lovelace.
Oh, that's okay. That's who he is.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Anyways, let's get to it. So, the guys were killed, then they go back to town. The Mechany or Menifee, whatever.
Yeah, they're going to the town of Menifee. All of a sudden, we're back on a train. We have Artie and Jim to the rescue. And
what's Artemis doing? He's getting dressed up like an Indian.
How?
Yes.
And then Jim gives this great quote: "No whiskey, no women."
Well, yeah. This is.
But what also bothered me is that the butler was back, and I really don't care for the butler.
Yes, he was I think he was a British butler too, right?
He was, yes.
Yes, Jim, I can get you. Yes, it was one of those things.
Tennyson is his name.
Okay, yes. Is he in future episodes again? I mean,
he's in several episodes, but what's interesting about the Wild Wild West is I think he's in the first 6 episodes, and then they fire him, or they basically write him out of the script. Yeah. But the recording is not the same as the air dates. So we've only maybe seen him in 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
He'll be in 2 or 3 more.
Okay.
But they don't come out in the same order. So there's no chronological sequence of the Wild Wild West as it airs.
Gotcha.
Sorry, that was confusing even for me.
No, all good. Artemis dressed like an Indian. He's getting ready to get intel at Menifee, the town of Menifee. So he's going to disguise himself as a Cheyenne Indian, which, he said good luck with that because they don't take the Indians very well in the town, but he's going to go there anyways. He's all happy to do it. Good old Artemis, he doesn't care what kind of trouble he's in. There's a scene later on where he's fighting and he's getting hit and he's throwing these little jabs that are like tiny, and the guy's going, "What are you doing?" And I thought that was hilarious, which we'll talk about when we get to it. But yeah, he's going to town of Menifee and Jim's going to head out that way too.
But even Jim knows it's going to be a tough one. So he tells him to be careful. And we get a little bit more exterior of the train. We see this basically ramp coming down and the horse comes out and we've got an engineer that's more active in this episode as well. Because in future episodes, the train just goes by itself.
Yes. I thought that was really cool. I thought what was cool about that was, again, you see the entire train, but then I get a picture in my head of why I would love a train like that, because you see Jim as it's taken away. He's on the back of the train too. Imagine having the whole cart to yourself, and then you get to see the countryside. The train takes off and he's just sitting on the back, looking as the train's moving away. And I'm like going, how cool would that be, Dave? That would just be so awesome.
It would be.
Ugh. If only I had $1 million.
One day.
Well, today, yeah, maybe $1 billion. I don't know. Well, how much do we
need? A lot. Because you got to get that train. You got to get it transported. I don't have train tracks near my house.
Leslie Nielsen doesn't show up too much later. He's going to get ready and show up here pretty soon here. But yeah, no.
Police squad.
Yeah, as soon as the train pulls in, and I do like that. Again, Jim's on the back of the train and he's pulling in, and does he tell the butler?
Oh, yes.
He goes, "We're pulling into Menifee. We're pulling into the train station." And the butler comes out and he's looking off towards like where there's nothing built. And he's going, pretty sparse out there or whatever. And Jim goes,
"No, you idiot.
The other direction, yeah. Darn you, Jeeves."
And then he's all like, "I'm not sure I don't like the other direction better."
Well, you know what? Both sides got their goods and bads, but you turn to the other way, yeah, you see the population, and you can tell it's just footage. You know what I mean? Because the train's going by, but you see this almost still image of like the street and the stuff moving. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? The train didn't stop yet. But he does pull in and the train does stop. And that's when they do meet General Ball, Dave.
Yes.
AKA
Stump.
AKA chopped off. Listen, Leslie Nielsen. So, I can never look at his IMDb. It's always the funny one from Police Academy.
Yeah.
No matter what straight, because he's a good actor. He's played a lot of good roles, in the past. But everybody knows him as the funny guy now. So,
Sure. And we don't realize what really a terrific actor he was. And he's actually in at least one episode of Columbo. Possibly 2, but I can't remember the other one right now.
Okay. Tom O, will there be a John Saxon sighting? Not in this one, no. He was in one we've done, though, right, Dave? He's been in one of the earlier episodes. Am I wrong?
I don't remember.
Okay. Well, who knows then? Yeah. Anyways, they are both great to watch. Jim for the fights, Artie for the disguises. Well, Artemis is not a bad fighter either. But, of course, Jim, he's the guy. So, Police Squad, of course, Lon Chaney. Yeah, Police Squad's one of the best funny shows out there. Anyways, so where are we at there, Dave?
Well, we find out that Major General Ball and Jim West worked together during the Civil War, fought together. And General Ball is kind of like this hero person, but he's lost his command and he's in this podunk town of Menifee.
He
And
lost his command, he says, because his hand got chopped off, and they put him in some, like you said, Bodunk town down, where he can't really do anything good. He should be up there with Grant and all these other great generals of the time period, and like Jim said, you've done great and you've got a great reputation. Why not live with that? But again, we're giving it away a little bit, but not really. This is an old episode, but yeah, he's kind of has some regrets and some hatred towards what they did, and he's going to seek some revenge. But at the moment, Dave, continue.
So he says, "Come on, Jim, we're going to be in a meeting. We've got a couple politicians we're going to meet with, and it's worse because they're Wall Street politicians." Kind of cracked me up a little bit, but they come into this board meeting. And there's a couple guys, older guys, but you could see them all dressed up. They also talked with accents, but they weren't like weird. They were weird accents, and I couldn't tell where they were really from. It was almost English, but not really.
Yeah, I think they were going with the Irish accent. It just didn't work very well, and it didn't go over very well.
And they talked about going, okay, we want to possibly give them what they want, which is $500,000, $500,000 back in the 1860s in gold, but they don't want gold coins. They wanted them melted into railroad spikes for some reason.
Well, I think that was an easy way for them to sneak it into town without people knowing, I guess, because they kept taking spikes to the, build the railroad.
Sure.
Spikes,
okay. I can see that now. Yes.
And they kind of stored it. The gentlemen's names were, I did write it down. Not that it matters, but when I get to it, I don't know. Adamson and Penrose. So there you go. These are the two guys in charge of the railroad. And one kind of wants to pay the ransom and get it over with, because you got General Ball there. Because they do get in a room and there's a meeting going on, and Jim Weston is trying to figure this out with General Ball. And Adamson and Penrose is kind of like, one guy's saying, pay the ransom because too many people are dying. Although, how many people died just building the railroad, Dave? So,
a whole bunch. But this is now, they're going to kill 5 people every single day.
Yeah. Boy, we're pulling them in this week, Dave, huh?
How many we got?
Well, it went down to 21. So, yeah, if you guys don't like Wild Wild West no more, I guess we'll move on. I don't know.
Well, come back next week.
Yeah, come back next week. We'll have a better show. I don't get it. Anyways, love everybody that's here. Make sure you give a thumbs up. All that good stuff. Yes, Dino complains all the time. I just don't know after 10 years why there's only 21, 24 people. How can I not keep it higher than that? So I don't know. Doing something wrong, right? Anyways, I'm doing some things right, Dave, in life. I'm doing some things wrong. But anyways, I enjoy talking no matter what we talk about. That's the one thing I do know for sure every week. But whether we can please people with our conversations is another thing. So,
well, it's just like my students, some are going to like the class, some are going to hate it.
Yeah, no, I get it. People this week in the world, people are not interested in Wild Wild West, but we're going to talk about it anyways. So they're in there talking about that, and the one guy says to give him 3 days, so he's going to give him 3 days.
Yes, and he keeps calling him Friend West. Hello, Friend West. What are you going to do for us, Friend West? Drove me nuts. And hello, Daryl Moody / Willie Abe.
Hey, Willie Abe, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Cheers. Might as well sit back and chill a little bit more now that
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, thumbs up. At least 32 likes, better than 0. At least 32 likes. Thank you, Edward Stewart. Listen, I appreciate you guys being here. Yeah, still recovering too. Still got the cough in the morning. Showtime today. I seem to got enough in me that talking about like Claritin and all the other stuff that I need to keep me good. But man, who would have thought pneumonia would really kick you in the butt? But it did. Anyways. Oh, and Dave, you had kind of a bad week here. little Bo scare. Bo, if you don't know, is the resident cat on Dave's channel. And he got a little sick or something happened. You got worried, man.
She did. She ate something that did not agree with her. Yeah. And all of a sudden she was just about like to pass out all the time. Didn't eat for about 48 hours. And then I took her to the emergency vet, and they gave her some shots, did some checks, and she is back about 80-90% right now.
Well, good. Yeah, that's, yeah, Bo's gotta be good, man. Anyways,
yeah, it really bothered me. So, but she's good, and that's what counts.
Okay, so there you go. So I do like the who they're blaming. First of all, they're blaming the Cheyenne Indians. This is the cover, and the lead character played by John Barrymore. And I like how they put in. Was that Drew really his middle name, because it's Drew Barrymore's father?
He's got like one of those weird names where it's like 4, and so IMDb just has him at 3, but it's Drew Barrymore's dad. So
yeah, and Drew was his, I guess, his middle name or whatever, or second or third, whatever. And yeah, so his name, and he's a chief of the Cheyenne tribe there, and he's called American Knife.
Yes,
and evidently he was college bound at some point, and he went to Dartmouth,
not Harvard,
but Dartmouth. And I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, this dude was college educated in a time that I didn't think they even allowed that, but somehow he did get in Dartmouth College to learn more about the white man, he said.
Well, there was a backstory too from where he was staying and where he was raised, and that got him into college. And then he kind of just like, after that, he kind of left everyone and went back to the Indians and pissed everybody off.
Yes. So. And they said he was doing missionary work and stuff too. And I'm like going, what is going on? This is a little strange. This guy just takes off from his tribe and to educate himself, comes back, and yeah. But anyways, he is a good guy, and he just wants peace, and the tribe is good and all that. And we'll figure that out later on when we talk about Little Willow too.
Yes.
Everybody wants Little Willow in their tent, Dave. So anyways, American Knife is who they're blaming. And then Jim leaves, and who does he see, Dave?
Well, not only who does he see, he almost runs into her, is Catherine Ross. She cuts him off, she's a woman with a attitude and a place to be.
So her dad just died, so I get it.
Yeah, she cruises through the town, and I hate Westerns. They're dirty. They've got, just the swinging doors. I don't like Westerns, but you
really don't like them?
I really don't care for them. I'm not a Western.
It depends what kind, but I love Westerns like Deadwood. And
I mean, I love Tombstone. Tombstone was great, if you had me go back in time to the West, I want Seward.
Oh, I get that.
You'd
have a fever every week, Dave.
You would.
Yeah. Fever. I won't get into it all. The
dysentery.
Yeah.
Scurvy.
Pooping in a bucket,
There's no landscape around your house.
I can't go a night without taking a shower, Dave. I mean, let alone a week. I mean,
and a warm shower.
Yeah.
Although, the only thing I really wish, and this is something I want to have done, one of those straight razor shaves where they put the warm towel on you and then soap you up and then do the shave. And
you can't find a place, or you're just too busy?
I don't know of any place except out in Palm Springs.
Well, take a drive. I don't know.
When I go to Contact in the Desert some year.
Is it a bucket list thing? I mean, I don't know.
It is a bucket list thing, yes.
Then you have to, definitely. Sally says, ew. Yeah. Gunsmoke. I've got to revisit that show. I never, believe it or not, I've listened to the old time radio shows, but never really watched Bonanza.
I haven't watched. So I think this is one of the reasons I don't care for Westerns, is because growing up as a kid, you could watch TV almost 24/7, except at noon. There was nothing on at noon except on Channel 5, Bonanza. Here's Michael Landon. Here's Lauren Green. And Big Hoss.
Or Dave's favorite, Little House on the Prairie. Yeah.
Oh God.
Submit, obey. Glad to hear your cat is better.
Been?
Cats and dogs are like babies indeed. Yes, they are. Good to see you, Yebo Timbus. Love that name. Anyways, I meant Westworld 1973, says Andrew. Yes, Westworld was a great movie. I never watched the series that came out, the newer series, so I don't know how that is, but yeah, good stuff. Tombstone was cool. Just make sure the barber is not pissed about something. Yeah, they know what they're doing. My pops was a big Gunsmoke guy. Yes, Edward Stewart. I do remember that. That is one thing. Yes, I do remember. Anyways, I miss the days of getting up and walking to TV, change the channel. You miss those days, do you? Listen, it's the whole experience of that decade that, you know, you're thinking of, like whether it's the 60s, 70s, 50s, 80s, 90s, whatever. But yeah, I mean, we can't say we don't like to just lay in bed now and just go. I mean, come on. You know, it makes it, you know, so you need the whole experience. I need an old couch from the era. I need an old TV from the era. And I need to get up and change this.
I need like, okay, once again, when we're millionaires, in these homes and everything, we've talked about certain things we've wanted. I want a 1970s living room.
Yeah.
I want the TV trays where I can heat up my Hungry Man dinner.
Yes.
And then across from me, I want a TV with the speakers on either side, and I can open up the top and play a record.
Yes. 100%. And the TV where you actually do have to change the channel. I'm sure the antenna will still pick up local something. I think you can. No,
not here. There's
over the air for some of the studios, but anyways, well, let's go on. Because we got to get to the bottom of things here. Because Sheila passes by and goes to the saloon where Artemis pokes out. He's an Indian. He's already infiltrated. That was kind of funny. But she starts talking deep Irish. And it was not a good one, though. And that's why she gets rid of it after. It's the only time she speaks Irish. And she's looking very pretty.
She is. And Mike McGreevy comes out. Mike McGreevy.
Yes.
How dare you talk?
What are you doing, Sheila? Roll my
cold in his grave yet.
Oh, and when we get, okay, yeah, we're going to get there next. Yeah. So they're hollering at her. She's saying she wants names. Jim comes in, he fights, knocks a guy into the saloon.
Throws him back in the bar.
Yeah. Here, get back in there, you know? And he tells Sheila, roll up close, you know, how Jim does it. He's so suave, man. He's like, hey, Sheila, well, let's talk. I'd like to know about your dad too. Got some place to go? My place, your place?
Let's go to my place.
Let's go to my place, Jim. Yeah. And so they go to her house. And again, this is the Old West. When they get in the house, did you see the 1950s wallpaper, Dave, up on the wall?
I did.
I cracked up laughing. I'm going, I know they had wallpaper in Victorian era. And listen, I know the rich and famous would put up wallpaper, but that was 1950s wallpaper up on.
Oh yeah, I almost called out Harriet.
Donna Reed, what are you doing? But yeah, I mean they're in. Well, and then you see there is some wood in the back, so they were all messed up. I don't know what was going on. That house was put together very strangely, but
it was probably a Sears catalog house.
Yeah, but who was following them, Dave? Somebody,
and not even trying to hide in the shadows. Elijah Cook Jr. He's following along, trying to listen to every word, and like they don't even close the door, and he busts in, you know. And right when I should say, right before he busts in, she says, "I know something that my dad was, you know, someone wanted to bribe him and everything, and I didn't know who it was, but it was just this guy with a deep voice and everything, and
large dark shadow of a man."
Yep.
Yeah, that's what she said. Hey, Lizzie, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, large dark shadow of a man. And then in comes Mr. McGreevy. and he's got a gun and a pistol, and evidently he's behind what's going on. He's part of the crew, part of the gang. So
yes, he should have taken that bribe. He would be alive today.
Yeah, because okay, so he's got the gun out on them, and he tells them, "Open up the trap door and get down." So
how did he know there's a trap door?
He must have staked out her house.
And when you build a home like that, what, you're going to build a basement first?
Well, that's what I was thinking. In the Old West, these towns like this, there's no basement.
And that's hard soil. That's you got to throw a stick of dynamite in there to do any digging.
Oh, there was some like brickwork in the back too. So I don't know how you would put that together, because that wasn't around as building material during that. These towns that went up real quick. To create cities. But anyways, it is what it is. And it was kind of comfortable. It wasn't too bad of a basement area, but he throws a blanket down there to him too, Mr. McGreevy, and then he locks up the trap door, like that's going to trap Jim down, but he stays down there because he's got ulterior motives anyways. Because who
does Jim or Elijah Cook?
Oh no, the Jim and Sheila, they're down there now, trapped in the basement with the thing. And he put some wire around the thing.
He does. He goes out, and it's going to give us a little bit more privacy, so that when they open it, we know, like a couple seconds, get our clothes back on, and that we're going to be interrogated.
Yes, because what's funny is they're down there, and Jim's like, well, we should get a little bit more comfortable and enjoy the evening. And she goes, I forget the exact words. You got the exact words? She's like, I'd rather enjoy a night of comfort than discomfort, because we may die tomorrow, is basically what she says.
Yes. Yeah.
Hinting towards let's get it on, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And she was 100% down for that. But what drove me crazy is that he lights the lantern with a little and then boom, like someone floods the light, all light on the stage. It's just like, can you do it a little bit more subtly? And then she just cozies up to Jim, and they start making out. And then it's, all of a sudden the pull on the trap door, and it's, Jim comes out, and it's Artemis, and he's all, where you been? He goes, I was following you. I had to wait till, Mr. McGreevy left.
Mr. McGreevy, yes. Yeah, it's so they kiss, and then they scene cuts out.
Not Jim and Artemis.
No. Artemis is the one that comes and tries to get him out of the trap door.
Right, and he does. And then he's all, were you able to find Mr. McGreevy? And he's all, yeah, but someone else found him first. And he's on the bed in the next room with an arrow through his chest.
Unbelievable.
That was awesome.
Yeah, he's dead. Somebody got him real quick. Maybe General Ball. I don't know. No, probably not. Probably one of his henchmen, because
Oh yeah, definitely a henchman hit.
He's got a club for an arm. He's just got one arm. And I thought it funny when they fought, him and Jim, later on, that I mean, Jim should have just demolished him, but
should have. But man, that stump packs a punch.
I guess. I mean, anyways, New York pizza, huge slices, LOL. Okay.
Well, Evo Timbus is having pizza while she's watching us.
Oh, so nice big pizza. I had pizza today too. I got a pizza with some pineapple and onion. Oh, Dave, it's just so good. Listen, if you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't know what to say. It was good pizza. It was really, really good. Anyway,
was it a chain pizza? Was it?
Oh, I'm not going to get into it. It was a chain pizza. I'm not saying it.
That's fine.
Papa John's sometimes can be good if you put enough ingredients on it, but it wasn't your good local pizza. Okay. It just was a quick, let's get that pizza and get out of here kind of thing.
One of my favorite things on rainy days at school, back when I had to, like long shifts where I was actually there for lunch or whatever. Yeah. And I would always grab we had a pizza place on campus. And so they would have these individual, like 4 little it was round pizza, and they cut it up into 4 slices. And always grab that pepperoni pizza. It was so good on a rainy day.
Oh yeah. Well, you said school pizza, which got me thinking of my school pizza. The school pizza we had in my school was really, really good. And to this day, I can't forget it. It was really, really good. It came in this square, like,
That'd be
it was like an aluminum like thing. Like, you could tell they must have got it from somewhere, put it in the oven.
Oh, yeah.
But it was so good, and it was thick, and it was like rectangular, and there was some meat on it. Listen, I don't know what kind of meat it was. It could have been hamburger, but it tasted good. At least my memory says so.
Yeah.
I go back and taste. I probably would croak over. I don't know. I was just something.
And I remember seeing them in huge sheets.
Oh yeah.
And I love, likewise, I love that type of pizza as well. And I loved were you a regular milk or chocolate milk drinker?
Well, at that time, I was a chocolate milk drinker.
All right.
At 18, I became lactose intolerant, and I couldn't no more.
And I remember there were certain days where I think it was Friday. Friday was pizza day.
Yeah. It was with us too. Yeah.
And I forget what other meals that they had, but I remember occasionally we'd have cornbread or a brownie.
Okay.
As dessert. We would always have, like, a little thing of fruit or peas or corn or whatever. And it was good. I would love to go back and have a grade school or junior high lunch again.
Oh yeah. School pizza was an English muffin with tomato paste, and not for us, Mr. Ed. No, not for us.
We didn't either. It was good pizza.
It was, yeah. Although, there were many nights when I was younger, and listen, we might as well do shows where we just shoot the shit. Now, how about shoot the shit with Dino and Dave, huh? We're down to 22. People do not care what we're talking about this week. I don't know if it's the algorithm or what, but anyways, there were plenty of nights when I was younger and like in my 20s, Dave, where I would just make and it tasted good at the time, at least. That's when you could just put whatever in your body and it doesn't matter.
Totally.
But I would take just bread. I would take bread, butter. I would take some spaghetti sauce on it, and I would put a slice of that good old yellow, American cheese on there and put it in the oven. And it could bring it out in a couple minutes, and just there's some homemade pizza. And it tastes good for me back then. It was really weird. Speaking of food here, and as we're down to 20, so I might as well just keep going. There was a thing I used to make because it was just really good. Put up a big frying pan. I would douse it with a bunch of butter. Lots of butter, Dave. Again, very unhealthy. Good thing my cholesterol, everything's good. I'm good, people. But let's see if we can get down to 15. Everybody leave, and let's see how low we can go, so that me and Dave can jump off air. Anyways, I would take flour, put it in a bowl. Okay, I would put a little bit of sugar and some onion powder, and I would mix it all up. This sounds nutty, and then I would put just a little dab of milk, and then slowly start putting water in there. And I would keep mixing it up. And then I would put it in the pan with the butter, and I would fry it. And then I would flip it over. I would fry it. I would put more butter on it. It was nice and salty, salt too. And then once it was nice and crispy, I would bring it out on a plate, and I would cut it up. Dave, that tasted so good. To this day, I'm like sitting here right now going, man, can I go for that right now? But it's so good. So good. And it's simple. The simple things tasted so good when you were young,
It sounds good.
Yeah, hey, the Mummy and the Monkey. Yeah, we're racking up the viewers tonight, man. We're doing good with Wild Wild West. It's our fault, we picked shows that our past Wild Wild Wests have done good, but anyways,
the first episode we got a couple thousand views on it.
Yeah, listen, I don't know. I really don't care anymore. I am this close to me and Dave always going to do Sunday, I think, Dave. That's all. But I'm this close to saying it's been 10 years, man. That if I'm not bringing in 100, 200 live viewers, on these types of shows. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm doing these Sunday shows with you because I love it, but I don't get it. I don't know what they want anymore, and I just don't know what they want. So, anyways, I know what these people want. These are my close friends, and these are the ones that are diehards. So I get it. But the Mummy and the Monkey, very, very good idea, man. Can you imagine a restaurant set up like a school cafeteria where they would? But do you go with that idea? Do you go with kind of better dining? Because it can't be school quality food, right, Dave? Or can it? Is there a certain population that's going to love that?
I don't know.
That's the question.
It just reminds me of we used to have Clifton's cafeteria here.
Okay.
You know, and it was some place where like your grandparents would take you when they visited. You know, so you would just kind of walk through, and it was kind of like, you know, the buffet type of deal, but it's just like, you know, here's the apple pie slice, you know, and you just grab one of those, and you know, this is the entree you want type of thing. But I think that would work, but I think it would just be very basic foods, you know, nothing like really wild. Like,
how about stuff you buy at Giant Eagle? Like it's chicken patty night, you know what I mean?
And you'd have like spaghetti night and lasagna night, you know?
Yeah. Listen, we're going to get back to Wild Wild West here anyways. Yeah, J.O.B. I get it. Listen, we do our X-Files. We did plenty of shows that we know get views. We choose sometimes shows in series that we know it's not going to get a big audience, and that's just because we're going to do that. That's what we want to talk about. So I get it. It's just I'm just complaining. That's all. It is what it is. Anyways, okay, so Radman, hello, and let's continue on with this show as the Mummy and the Monkey go through their thrift finds.
I hope they found some good stuff.
They always do.
Do you have good thrift stores in Cleveland?
We got a lot of cool places. Listen, I did that for, I swear to God, 16 years at the boom of the beginning of eBay when it first started, and it was a gold mine. I could not tell you how much money I was making at the time, but for at least a decade, it was good. As Janet and James would tell you right now over at the Mummy and the Monkey, that it's hard now. It's hard to find. You really have to, I think, make it kind of a 9-to-5 thing. And even more so, you really have to go digging to find the really good stuff. We got some places to go to, but then you got to go to, in the summer, garage sales. You know, there's places to go to, estate sales if you get lucky. But man, 90% of the stuff is just nothing, you know, and you got to get that little bit of luck with the other one, and then it's slim margins when you try to resell and stuff like that. So it's not easy, but yes, I did that for many years, and I still love doing that. I think I told you before, there was the clutter box. I don't know if you guys know this, Janet, James. I don't know who's typing, but I don't know if you remember the clutter box antique store on Lorraine Avenue back before the lady. I knew her. She was like my grandma. I would get first dibs on these little toys and the stuff that she knew I wanted. But she was a really old, I think Slovak or something like that. And she sat out. She was scary. But she'd sit out on the front. And this is a bad neighborhood. And she'd sit out there, but you go in the door, Dave. Listen, we can get through Wild Wild West in 5 minutes. Listen, you go through the door in the clutter box. It was stacked. Everything was stacked and piled. And I could spend a week digging through one corner of one pile to look for stuff. And at the bottom, I would find it. And I'm like going, oh, and she had this glass case that over the years, Dave, she would throw all the little things in. So you're looking through the glass, and it's like there's at least thousands and thousands of little things in there. And sorry, you got me going, Dave. I mean,
that's fine. I know. I like it. I'm waiting for you to tell us your story again of the wonderful canes that you found.
Oh, listen, I found canes, for like $20 a piece, and one of them went for 300, one went for 4. I even found a machete. It wasn't called a machete. It was some African type weapon, and it looked like a machete, and I forget the name of what it was called, but I got it from somebody down in that location, because during the time I was hooked up with so many different people, and he gave it to me for $20, and I sold it for, I think, $600 is what it went for. And because it was really, really rare. And but listen, on and on. Books for a quarter, I'd sell for 700. I'd get the Tonka stuff. There's certain glass products you got. So, I did all that stuff, and it was just so fascinating, so awesome. What I love the most, we're book lovers, Dave. I know I keep going. It doesn't matter.
No, it's okay, because we're already up to 30.
Yeah,
so maybe we should do antique talk.
Yeah, antique talk with Dino and Dave. Listen, we come up with these ideas and never do them. But what I loved the most was across the street from the Clutter Box was another antique store. And what they had there was an upstairs where it was loaded with books.
Ooh.
Boxes of books came in all the time, Dave, over and over and over. And I was there almost every day looking for the newest books and just going through them. And I spend hours up there looking, and it just, the feeling that came over me, this is the type of person I am, to smell that old book smell and just be in there and the history behind the books, paper pages. I loved it so darn much, and I missed it. I missed it so much. But man, the toys she would give me, there was a little old boiler. It was an actual boiler, something you would, see like the old scientists from the early part of the Victoria, or the later part of the Victorian area, which this probably was late 1800s. And she had it underneath her seat, and she was kind of hiding it. And I go, what is that down there? Is that a toy? And she brought it up, and it actually was a working boiler that was like 6 inches long, had all these gears and mechanisms, looked just like a steampunk type machine, and it worked. And she goes, she didn't want to get rid of it. She's like, this just came in. Okay, $80. And I'm going, yep, you better believe I'm going to take that for $80. So I got it, and I took it home. And for the longest while, I kept it on my shelf because I wanted it. It looked so cool. But then I eventually ended up selling it, I swear to God, for like $700-800. I can't remember. This was like 16 years ago, man. But stuff like that, man, it just, this place was like no place I've ever seen before, and it just was unbelievable. If you guys could just walk through this area, you could spend hours and days and weeks and months and still not get to what was there. But anyways, should we get back to Wild Wild West?
We do. I just have a couple things to say.
Yeah.
We have a great little antique district in Old Town Orange.
Hey, Kathy.
And yes, Kathy did join us. Hello, Kathy.
Yeah.
And so I love doing the antique things as well. Yeah. The books, the ones that I have found, we started to have a great Friends of the Library around here. And I mean, all the major cities had these great places where people just dropped off books, and I could pick up books for $1 or $2 or whatever. Yeah. And now those bastards are putting them online because they can get more for them. And I'm like, that's not fair. It's for me that I'm going out searching for these books. And they now they look through them. Oh, this one's signed. Oh, this one's this way. Yep. And one of my old, actually not old bookstores, but one of the bookstores that I go to called the Bookman. Yeah. They actually have a YouTube segment every Friday, things found in old books. And so as the books come in, they'll leaf through them. Look what we found. We found this really cool picture or book or pictures or concert stub, things like that. So
I found some old pictures from like the 1920s in books of family members, which that alone looked, I'm like, wow, okay, this is, I mean, very cool stuff. But then what ended up happening was when eBay came around, all of the managers at the Goodwill stores and the other thrift type stores knew what was going on there. They took all the good stuff and would put it in a corner, because I would go by the door and go, oh, are those coming out? And they go, oh no, that's for the manager. They got dibs on it. And I'm like going, what? You've got to be kidding me. So, that's the way things ended up happening. And that's why eBay's in the state it is now. And I'm not saying you can't still make a living, because Janet and James, I think, still do make a pretty good living doing it. It's hard work, I'm sure. But yeah, I love that stuff. Anyways, let's get back to it now. Good old Sheila. Yeah.
But we've taken Sheila to the train now.
Yes.
And she runs out because at the Silver Dollar Saloon, she knows there's a couple Indians that work there, and they can help us find John Barrymore, who is American Knife. And that's who they're looking for, because they still think the Cheyenne is killing all the railroad workers.
Yes. Oh boy, I'm a little far back here.
That's okay. And
then I like that Artemis is getting disguised now as an old man.
I thought it was an old woman at first. With the way he was doing the makeup. Yeah.
And the wig was kind of round, like an old granny. Like, oh yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
But he makes a pretty good old man, and he gets dropped off at the work site and everything. And he there's a big barrel of water, and you got to scoop your own water, and he's like kind of smelling it, and the other guy takes a little swig of bourbon. He goes, "Ain't that a little too early in the day for you, Sonny?"
That's how we get the trains built. It's my man.
That's right.
So Artemis is just on the what Harry said earlier, whatever it's called. I forget again. The little cart, that takes you up and down the train.
Yeah, the Gandhi something.
The Gandhi Sandy Gandhi Dandy thing. Yeah. But yeah, no, he's going up and down, and they're bringing spikes back and forth and stuff like that. So yeah, it was. Go ahead.
Side note. Yeah. On old railroad tracks, and I'm dying to do this, they have go-karts that they'll put on the old tracks of the abandoned tracks in certain parts of the country, and you can ride through the tracks.
Huh, nice.
I've always wanted to do that, and they put the videos on YouTube.
Very cool.
It's really fantastic. So
unfortunately, all the train tracks around here still are in use. We have all the lines in this area. Like, there's a certain time of night where you can hear the whistle blowing at 10 o'clock every single night. And there's a train trestle where kids have run across, and lots of stories over the years. It's been around for 100 years now, this train track, which goes up way high. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's too far. But it goes right through the metro parks here and the bike trail and all that. It's a really cool place. It really is. And but anyways, yeah. So yes, what did that take? We were talking about trains and
we were on the Gandhi dancer cart, as Harry Scott reminded us.
Yes, thank you. And Sheila does pop out of the room and says, "Listen, Jim, I can ask a couple of Indian waitresses over at the Silver Dollar Saloon for some intel if they know anything." What? That's what they said.
It's like an echo in here.
Is there an echo? Oh, did you just say that?
Yeah.
Oh, listen, go
just
ahead.
About 5 minutes ago, but that's okay.
That's why we're hovering in the 20s. Go on.
That's all right. And so we're actually, Artemis is getting rides to and from the place to pick up new spikes and, railroads.
Are we there now?
Wood and stuff. And as soon as they drop him off, the cart goes a little bit further. All of a sudden, Indian attack.
Yes.
And all 5 of those guys are killed.
Yes. So the quota has been made.
Yes.
Yes, the quota. I do love the Silver Dollar Saloon. I'd like to go grab a drink. You think they got pop there? Maybe ginger ale?
I would say definitely ginger ale. Probably sarsaparilla.
Okay.
Yeah. It reminds me of the Scooby-Doo episode we just went through, and they took the glasses and
zoinks. Scoob. Which, by the way, is coming up soon. We do got another. Are we waiting 4 more minutes? Yeah. Dave's very precise.
I think we should.
Yeah, let's wait 4 minutes. Soon as the gong goes off at 9 p.m. here, Eastern time. Okay, so Jim and Artemis, this is what trips me out.
All right.
5 Indians on a horse with guns, and Jim and Artemis goes to chase them on their horseback. So they're right on the heels of these 5 Indians, which aren't going to end up being Indians. They're going to be white men with wigs on, and they're dressed like Indians. No surprise. So they're chasing him, and one shoots back, and I guess they hit the horse, and the horse falls down, and Artemis goes down.
Artemis goes down, and it's so funny because in the segment where Jim circles back for Artemis, the horse is gone. We don't see it. We don't see a down horse. We just see Artemis going, "Go on, have your fun, go get him." You know,
there was no way they could keep the horse down on the ground. They said,
No.
let him off. Let's just finish the shoot." But he's like, "Jim, go." So Jim jumps and he's after him, man. 5 against 1.
The way they shoot him, he just like narrows the rifle down on his arm, right in the back, and the guy goes, "Ah!"
And what's his name? I don't know what his name is. Jumps on man. Jumps off cliff and gets. There's an Indian up on the cliff.
Oh, and there is.
Jumps on Jim and kind of captures him. They kind of capture him and they take him back.
They do, and it's one guy captures him, puts a knife to his throat, and then American Knife shows up.
American Knife, yes.
The Cheyenne people welcome you.
Yes, it was all nice in the village. They were acting all nice, and this is where he discloses that he went to college at Dartmouth to learn about the white man, but came back and he's
my quote on this: Indian village, fake scene.
Yeah, 100%. Like the Three Stooges episodes, right? It's kind of funny. But he sits him down. They all walk away and they leave him with American Knife after he just kind of shot one of their guys. Although no, it was one of the disguise guys.
Right. So they knew it wasn't an Indian.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like watching the scene as well. They just happened to be there.
And American Knife says, "I need a favor."
Yeah.
That's what he says. Yeah.
I want
a favor from Jim. Yeah.
I want amnesty for my people, and I want, A, B, and C. And Jim goes, "Okay."
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He says it's a group of white men disguised as Indians, and it's not us. And but he does turn around and he sees his tribe there, and he says, "I can't let you off the hook so easily, though." He's got to show, which this whole scene didn't make any sense. I think it was just a way to get Jim in the tent for the episode, the director or whatever, to have a scene with a woman, because they tie him up with his shirt off.
Right. And we have to have a segment of him without a shirt on in each of these episodes. This is the way they were able to do that. They tie him to some weird stretcher trellis type of thing. And
trellis where Dave's ready to grow some roses up this torture device.
Totally. It's springtime.
And I love that little Willow comes in to torture him, and she's the tribe torturist is what they say, the masochist.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the scene that ensues. Hey, Rajram, been a while.
And then she goes, "You must, scream." And he goes, "What if I just moan?"
Well, first he screams and she goes, "You're a good screamer." And he goes, "Is it all right if I just moan?" And then it got a little weird, Dave, because little Willow,
a little weird.
They got close and they started kissing, and while they're kissing, Jim, I'm not going to do it, but Jim's moaning. He's going on. He's moaning.
Well, then
in this sexual manner, and I'm going, what the heck? And then they keep going back.
They show the tribal people on the outside of the tent, and they're giggling. It
was elderly women.
Oh my God! It was like literally they cut in episodes of Gilligan's Island. That is how bad this was.
Oh, it was so good, so funny. Yeah, it reminded me of a Three Stooges, but Jim's in there basically he's moaning away, and Little Willow's loving it. And I don't think there was enough. Well, I guess there's always enough time, but I don't know what really truly went on there, Dave, because the ambiguity of if something any further than kissing and moaning went on, I don't know. She does cut off the cords on his hand, but they come out of the tent.
They do. And there's anyway,
I'm not.
When they come out of the tent,
stop. Yeah,
there's Artemis.
Artemis is there,
and Artemis is laying down. He's like, "Oh, Jim, what's going on?"
He's being waved with fans.
Yes, like he's some hero.
Did camps, Native American camps, have fans? I mean, I guess maybe they did, because it got hot in the West, right?
It did, and it does.
Yeah, it still does. Yeah, it's not like it stopped, but some good years, some bad years. But,
and so then they realized that, hey, it was once again, he tells, it's a white guy dressed up as an Indian, and the people are going to come back for the body. Exactly. So we want to be ready and follow them back to their place.
Yes, and at this point it's 9:02. What do we got coming up, Dave? I'm not even looking. I'll look at the thumbs up. Let's see how many we got. Drum roll, please. We got 46. Thank you for everybody who's given us a thumbs up. Thank you. Appreciate that. Appreciate you sticking around for 5 minutes or an hour and a half with us. So thank you.
And so next week we are going to be doing Night Gallery.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to talk to Dave. I did so many of them already, and I did them by myself. And I'm like, each week I was telling myself, this would be nice to do with Dave, to have somebody to talk to about the actors, the actresses, because it's star-studded, all of these things, and for the most part. And so we're going to be talking Night Gallery. Season 2, episode 4 is what I'm up to. So yeah,
perfect. I can't wait.
Yep.
The week after, we're going to be doing Scooby-Doo episodes 5 and 6.
The podcast. Yep.
Then we're doing the X-Files, season 1, episode 2, Deep Throat.
Yes, this is not the porn movie, but the actual X-Files.
Although that may get us more hits.
It could. I mean, me and Dave could start covering adult movies, but no, we're not going to do that. That's sorry. Nope. But yeah,
another channel.
Then what?
Maybe on another channel. And then Circle of Fear. We're going to finally get to that, because we had to bump that because of illness.
Yes. So Circle of Fear, that's going to be that's going to be a fun one too. I've seen those episodes. Those are really good. I mean, it's right up there with, it's not as good as Night Gallery or Twilight Zone or any of those, but it in its own right, some people think so, and some people really do like that. It's got a cult following, and it's going to be interesting to talk about. It's going to be interesting to see who shows up and wants to see us talk about Circle of Fear. But anyways, man, the stuff we've talked about on this channel over the years, man, I tell you. Anyways,
yes, but I'm really looking forward to the second episode of X-Files.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, that's because you want to see Gillian Anderson again.
That is always a side benefit.
That is. She's such a beauty. Anyway, so okay, so the moans, all that good. So they go after the body of the man who got shot off the horse. Dave.
J.O.B.
April Fool's joke. Dino and Dave review the Twilight Zone movies.
Yeah, that'll never happen.
Yeah, mostly because we just got way too much to do.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking years down the road, but me and Dave's not a movie kind of guy at the moment, really. We're hitting these series, and they've been fun.
Yeah,
as you see, people love us talking about all this. But let's get to it.
All right, now let's get this over with.
Yeah,
nighttime comes, and we are going to the enemy camp, and Artemis goes like one way and Jim goes the other, and Artemis ends up running into this makeout session of this guy and this girl,
love it.
Right? And the guy's drunk, and he's all, "What you doing, bud?
Kissing this girl up, man, left and right."
And so they fight, and Artemis obviously being sober, wins. And then the girl like doesn't let him go. She's all, you won.
She says, yeah, square. You won me fair and square. You get me. And she kisses him, and he's got other things. Wait, did they cut off that scene?
Well, then we don't ever see Artemis again in that scene because Jim's up on the hill.
Okay, so maybe he went up on the hill or in the bushes or something like that, and he couldn't resist. Looked kind of like roll in the hay, rolling. But it's a village where, well, not a village, it's a camp, but there's so many people there that they're like, if new people come in, they're not really going to notice. So that's the whole point. But evidently the main guys get tipped off because, as I say, well, 3 guys go into a cave to meet a clubbed man, a clubbed hand man, who is General Ball. It's Leslie Nielsen. We find out he's the kind of leader of all of this stuff going on. His whole thing is he's trying to get $500,000, and he says he wants to take that money and he wants to create his own state. Dave is what he says. Yeah. Can you
go down to Mexico and take over like one of the areas, and then take over the whole country? And who knows what's next?
But while they were in there, and boy, the echoing was driving me nuts. The 3 guys are talking, and they're either in a real cave or the studio made it so that it would echo like it was in a cave. And the 3 guys were talking, putting a plan together. We're going to ambush the train as it brings the gold or whatever, and all this stuff. The next 5 people are going to die. And Jim overhears this, but as soon as Jim leaves and there's smoke coming out, he goes, the 3 guys down there said, I think we got him. I think Jim came in and he heard what we got. So there, and that's when Leslie Nielsen came out, and plan was made.
Yeah. And so then we're back in the city of Menifee.
Oh.
And in the city, they're going to, again, the Leslie Nielsen character comes into the meeting, and the 2 Wall Street guys are there already, and Artemis and Jim are there. And he's all, okay, this is going to be the plan, and you should just give him the money. And then Leslie Nielsen's all like, what?
Yeah, like, what? This is a bad plan. What are you doing? Playing his role, He's like, inside he's going, yeah, good job, Jim. He can't break this case. Let's just give him the money. Let's not have more people dying. Even though, like I said, people are dying by the hundreds on making this railroad system going across. That's just the way it was. But yeah.
He knows something's up. So meeting, he walks outside, and there's a guy tending his horse, and he's all, something's up, something's not right. Pick him up. And we have this really great scene where the engineer's there. They knock the engineer out. The butler's in the pantry. They pull a gun on him. He's all,
they grab Sheila from the house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What the heck does that mean? So they're gathering up all the people they need to. And
they put him in the back of a wagon. Talk about rolling the hay.
Yeah, rolling hay. This is where you stay. You can see what's going on. But yeah, one thing we did overlook was when he did say, pay him the loot, and they did say, okay, we do got the money here. It's in gold spikes, so it was in that the whole time it was in there. So, oh geez, nuclear. Anyway, no, I'm joking. Perfect amount of light. So yeah, gold spikes. Then Sheila, Artemis to pick a fight. Artemis. Oh, and then when they are there at the camp and he's got all 4 of them, the butler standing back there, all nice and clean suits though. Yeah, that was nice, right? And this is when Artemis. Well, first of all, the guy in charge, I forget his name, but he starts taking his suit off. He's got he knows everything about Jim, and he takes the gun in his shoes, the gun in his sleeve. They take the knife out of the pocket. What's a parket? But
$2 an hour.
Yeah, they do leave they leave him the jacket with the key picket, pock picket.
Yeah, he's not going to need this.
Yeah, he's not going to pick a lock anywhere. So they allow him to have that.
But then, what's his name? Artemis comes in, starts a fight.
But he starts a fight like he's a little kid. He punches him. Yeah, he goes, let me hit you in the jaw. Yeah, there's one. And the guy doesn't even flinch when he hits him.
And the first time he gets a little slap on the face. And the guy's all, now why did you go and do that?
Yeah. But his whole thing was Artemis wanted to steal the knife out of the jacket that the guy put the knife in the jacket to the one guy next to him. And so they can cut out of their ropes later, which they do. Yeah. And Dave, so what's next? Yeah.
Well, really excited there.
Well, what's next, Dave? Yeah.
At this point, we're now in a cave, and they take Jim separately into the cave, throw him down on the cot, and
how dare they?
Then the guy goes, so who's your boss? The guy goes, what do you mean? He goes, you're obviously not smart enough to be the main ringleader here. And Leslie Nielsen comes out, he goes, you're right.
Yeah.
I'm the real person here behind everything.
Yes. And that's the show. Hey, Night Fright, what's going on? Good to see you. Sorry I'm missing all these long things you got going on here. I know there's a good chat going on with Lizzie and the I wish I could read it. If I'm missing anything, sorry, people. I'm trying to concentrate, of course, on this episode as much as possible. When actually, I've got a picture of Catherine Bell right here in front of me.
Ooh, lucky you.
Yeah.
And her name is Catherine Ross.
Wait, what?
And her name is Catherine Ross.
What did I say? Catherine Bell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I said that.
That's okay.
Is there any reason why I would say that?
Not unless she was ringing your bell.
Okay, so
now we have this guy, Leslie Nielsen. He's getting all dressed up. He's in his battle fatigues. And he's all, look, the money's coming. I'm all ready. And we're going to take it. We're going to disappear into the night. And, I hate the U.S. government for what they did to me just because I lost an arm or a hand. And I spent 18 months in recovery and I come out and Grant is president. I'm 10 times better than Grant is. And it was really kind of cool to see why he was, doing that. But then he gathers up his troops and it really looked like a Civil War battlefield. So you've got your general all dressed up. He's got his troops behind him and he's all, then of course they have to divulge what they're going to do. And he's all, you see the explosives on either side of the train tracks. So what they're going to do, the train's going to pull up. I'm going to explode them so that the caboose where all your agents are hiding, they're all dead immediately.
Yep.
And so then, we hear the train whistle and everything like that. Jim breaks loose, pulls the rifle, strangles the guy, and then he takes off.
Runs off to get the sniper who is up on the cliff. And
sniper, explodes the charges, train stops, and then the cavalry starts riding down out of the caboose area, which I don't know why they have that when the money is up front. Why don't they just have an engine and the money?
Right. 10 Indians come running out.
Wasn't a lot more than 10.
Or 30 or 40, yeah.
And then, all of a sudden you see these it's cowboys and Indians. And they're fighting and they've got rifles and you hear the guys going, and they're falling off the train and horses are going down.
Battle at the OK Corral is what
it is. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my God, good stuff. But then we know the culmination is going to be Jim against our friend Major General Ball, right?
Yeah.
And it comes down to I hate to say a fist fight, but it's a fist versus stump fight. And Leslie Nielsen goes around, boom, boom, with his stubble. And it wouldn't that make a weird mark on your face too?
Listen, and get a picture of a costume like you would do at Halloween, where you would extend your arm and then just level it off. It was just, it looked so fake. You can see the hand kind of moving. It was just really.
And one, his one arm's longer than the other.
Yeah. It was so funny. It was so funny. But somehow the older General Ball and the almost James Bond type, agent that Jim West is, really didn't look like he was winning this fight. I don't care if he's got a club hand or not. He was doing kicks and everything else. But yeah, what ends up happening is he turns and he's got the gun pointed right at Jim. An American Knife. Boy, what a name. He just throws down a knife and gets him in the back. And down goes General Ball.
Yes. Oh, it was great.
And of course he had some good lines and stuff. He
did. He was like, I saw you struggle there. You were, you didn't want to kill a friend. So I'm your new friend and I killed your old friend type of thing.
Yes.
So.
Yes. 100%. Yeah. Watch it there, Mr. Ed. Wasn't that's a nursery rhyme, right? Yeah.
10 Little Indians?
Yeah, isn't it a nursery rhyme? Yeah. How can you?
And it's a great Agatha Christie movie.
Yeah. How can that be bad?
But
yeah. Kathy, the books usually. You guys are still talking books? Yeah, we got to do a book show.
And I would tell you, Bubba and Kathy, one of the great Gothic books is by Matthew Lewis. It's called The Monk. It is fantastic. Make sure you read it.
What year did it come out?
1787. I mean, it's an old book, but it's like one of the, Penguin classics type of thing where you're always going to have it on the shelf. And I had to read it for my romanticism class in college, and it was fantastic.
Nice. Okay, we're getting to the best part
where it's, story within a story within a story.
Nice. Okay. I wrote it down. I'm going to put that on the list to start listening. Today, you never know, Dino. Well, listen, we've got free speech again, dude, Mr. Ed. So we're allowed to.
And then there were none was the Agatha Christie.
No, you're good. If it's a nursery rhyme. So, anyways, what, Dave? What was that about? Okay. Now I'm looking. What's going on? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, we're getting to the good part, Dave. The very end, you guys. Here we go. So we're back on the train, gang. And yes, woo. And Jim's there.
Yes, he is.
And in comes Sheila.
Yeah. Well, and Artemis leaves. Okay, so it's just Jim.
Yeah, it's just Jim. Artemis is gone. And out from the door in the coach comes Sheila with a big platter of food.
Oh, yeah.
Evidently a dinner platter. And also with her, smiling, holding each other in a warm embrace, is little Willow.
Yes.
Taken from her tribe because she wanted to see Jim. Either that or Sheila said, little Willow.
Maybe she was a gift from the Cheyenne.
It could have been. But she's holding a platter of food.
Yes.
And again, in a very nice, cozy, warm embrace. And Jim's on the couch. He's already given himself a nice seat, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
And they both plop on the seat right next to him, both sides. And the references can go in many different directions. Do you got any good ones, Dave?
Well, she goes, would you like, whatever it was, cooked chicken or whatever?
Or what she got? Or would you like
buffalo tongue? Or would you like both?
Would you like both? And he smiles and
he's got his arms around her and they're just like tucking in. Oh, God, so good.
And the cutscene, and it's the way they said that, and it was just the sexual innuendo. I'm sorry, it just was that's what it was. It was 100%, and I'm just like, wow, for 1968, 67, whatever.
65 on this one.
Oh, wait,
we're in season 1.
Yeah, 1965. What am I talking about? that's a little risque. I mean, I don't know. I'm like, or do you want both? And they smile and they look at him and cuts, and Jim's, oh my God, it was the best. It was one of the best endings to something we've watched together. It just was a trip. I'm like, how could they do that? I don't know. That was a trip. And that's the show. I loved the show. I don't know, something about it. I wish we had more Catherine Ross, really, but we did have Little Willow when we didn't have Catherine Ross. But,
right.
So it evened out. But
I'm on Team Willow. I would prefer her.
Really?
And it's funny is they're both still alive today.
Is okay. Catherine Ross is still alive?
Catherine Ross is still alive. She is 85, I think.
Catherine Ross.
She was born in 1940.
Yes, January 29th, 1940. Oh, what a beautiful gal.
She is beautiful. And she's even worked recently, just a few years ago. She had completed something. And then Susan Silo goes on, has a couple 100 credits, and she's a famous voice actress.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She's like American Dad, some of those things like Family Guy and stuff like that. So, yeah, no, voice actress, definitely. Jade, what did he say? Oh, God. No. Okay. Yeah, Dino and Dave, do a book night, book of horror movies. Remember Interview with the Vampire being turned into a movie, and a controversy about the Cruise getting the role of Lestat. I don't even want to go in the direction, Dave, that I want to go into with the whole Anne Rice and Interview with the Vampire. The Vampire Chronicle.
Into Anne Rice.
Well, Interview with the Vampire and the Vampire Chronicles is my all-time greatest novels of all time, like story, but other than The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Okay. Those are my top two. And I guess I could say they're almost equally vampires and then that whole fantasy realm, but what has happened to Anne Rice's story of Interview with the Vampire and the Vampire Lestat? You have to be a diehard Vampire Lestat or Vampire Chronicles or Interview with the Vampire aficionado or reader of the novels to really get what I'm saying if I were to say what I wanted to say, which I'm not going to because I would offend people and I would hurt people. But Anne Rice passed away. Christopher Rice kind of has control of that now with AMC and totally turned the AMC show into something that I'm just like, this is so wrong. And it's a shame because visually the cinematography, the setting of how the time period looks and everything is beautiful, Dave. But the characters and how they portray each and every character, again, I'm not going to get into it because I will offend people. And listen, I'm as open-minded as anybody, but to take characters and change them into something totally different to appease what you want to appease in your own mind or whatever just is not right. The stories I read are not what is up on that series on AMC. And I could go in depth on this, but of course I'm not going to because, again, I don't want to say the wrong things. But I love the Vampire Lestat and everything to do with it, and it's been turned into something that it just should not be turned into, and that's where I'll end it. But I'm happy to talk about the book. But listen, I don't think me and Dave's really going to talk about books. I don't think, but we've got enough to do. And I was this close to interviewing Anne Rice. I've said that before. I know, Dave. What? I should shut up.
No, it's fine. How close were you to interviewing Anne Rice?
I was very close. It was the interview was set up. I talked to her assistant, and it was set for, oh my God, I forget how many years ago that was now. 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I don't know. I forget when she passed away. I'd have to look it up again. But her assistant said it's set up, emailed me a few days later and said, oh, she got sick. She's got shingles. And what ended up happening was complications from the shingles got the better of her, and she passed away soon after. And I'm like going, and that was a bucket list thing. And I'm like going,
oh yeah.
I mean, I feel bad for Anne Rice because I loved, she just started doing like YouTube stuff where she would sit in front and you would see her house and she would talk about the characters, and it was fantastic. And she passed away, and it sucks. It really is a shame. Very, very sad. But anyways, what did you have to say, Dave? Let's see.
Get your shingles vaccinations.
Really? Okay. Oh,
I'll tell you, that second one hurts too, mother.
Oh yeah, I've never gotten one, Dave.
I did a couple years ago, and first one is fine. First one, not even a big issue. A little bit of pain. They do it in the shoulder like the COVID shots, but then that second one, the pharmacist was all like, "You're gonna feel this one," and gave me a shot, and I'm like, whatever. 12 hours later, no problem. I'm like, I'm a man. And then all of a sudden, my whole body hurt. Like, I can tell you, I was driving from school to home, and I could feel the space in between the bones in my body. Everything was just aching. And it got to the point I almost pulled over and took a nap. I was so out of it and so drained. But I don't want to ever have to deal with shingles.
Yeah, I've had chicken pox, and believe it or not, like 15 years ago, I did get shingles, and it wasn't really bad. It was in a weird spot. There was something behind my ear, and it went down behind my ear. And the way they figured it out was you could see the vein, and it went to a specific spot, and they're like, yeah, you got shingles. And even though I didn't have all the pain, there was pain. Even with that little bit, there was pain. But for a month, I felt like crap. And it was just that. Wow. And they do give you like an antiviral, like these huge pills. And I'm like, but yeah, no, I had chicken pox, and I had chicken pox bad. I've got like marks. There's like a fork mark here. That's really weird. Looks like somebody took a fork and stuck it in the side of my temple here. But yeah, listen, I had it all, Dave. Listen, when I was young, my parents were poor. I don't know what they did when it came to vaccinations. I know I had vaccinations, but I had the measles, and I had it so bad, they said. It was awful. I don't remember it, thank God. But chicken pox, you name it, man. I had it. I don't know. But yeah, no.
I remember having chicken pox for Halloween when I was in 5th grade.
Oh.
And like the whole class got it, whole school got it.
Yeah.
And so this would have been 1982. And I mean, I remember having to stay home for Halloween.
Yeah.
And could only watch, Halloween specials on TV.
Oh, that sucks.
Play my Atari.
That sucks. And yeah, Edward, I bet, Dino, I've heard horror stories. Kathy says, yes, they are very painful, blah, blah. Yeah, no, again, there are people who can get it all down the side of their body, and and their pain is horrendous. I just got it probably because I had chicken pox just behind my ear and down here. And even that hurt, Dave. Oh my God.
The doctor told me if you get it on your face, that he goes, people have committed suicide because it's been so painful.
Thank God I had chicken pox before, and thank God it didn't get any worse than it did, because it's like a constant headache for a month. The skin is so sensitive, of course, but it was really weird. I had no idea what it was, Dave.
Yeah.
And when they told me, I freaked out and said, oh my God, no, what's going to happen?
Still better than neuromycetitis.
Neuromycetitis poisoning. You know what that does? It if you back up and you don't go pee, and you don't, right? That's from Seinfeld.
It is. That's why they peed in the parking garage.
Yeah, if you don't relieve your bladder, you'll get neuromycetitis poisoning.
That's right.
Because all the pee backs up. Listen, it's a Seinfeld joke. It's a Seinfeld thing. Anyways, we had chickenpox parties back. What? Oh yeah. They would have chickenpox parties to get their kids infected so that they would get it over with. Yeah, no, because back in the day, like 70s, I would say 70s. That's when chickenpox was very prevalent. Yeah, they would have chickenpox parties, Dave.
Why would you do that to your kid?
Because they knew their kid was going to get it, and it was like the herd immunity kind of thing. Get it over with, let everybody get it in there. So yeah, it was a thing, and I get it. I get it. My friend had shingles 3 times. Brutal. Oh my God, Kathy. Don't say that. I don't want to ever get that again. Or even the possibility. Listen, I feel as though things get into my system, my immune system goes, okay, I mean, that's the way it's supposed to work, but I guess maybe not. I had chickenpox when I was okay. I know Dave's like going, coffee dinner. Oh my God. Why did your alarm go off too and say, you must end show or you will not be able to sleep tonight? 6:32. That time sounds so good, Dave, but it's 9:32 here. Oh no, it's quite all right. Dave, your expression says it all. Listen, yeah. Listen, I hope.
Hey, this one says it all too.
There's oh yes, there we go. Everybody knows me and Dave's here every Sunday. If you see something that you'd like to hang out with us and listen to, then please do. The next couple of weeks or 3 weeks are really going to be really fun and good. Sorry you didn't like Cowboys and Indians tonight, but hopefully you enjoyed our talk. We always very often talk about other things too. We make it fun, but 10 years and it's hard to get 50 people. With that said, love each and every one of you. And last words, Dave?
Thanks for your well wishes.